Good day, esteemed viewers. Welcome to AMT News. Today, we are going to be talking about a very familiar topic, something not so far from our center of attraction, Wike and Sim of River State. Now, but in the news today, we are hearing that Serap sues 36 governors and Wike over failure to account for trillions of FAAC allocations. Yes. Now, you might be wondering what concerns the FCT minister with this lawsuit of 36 governors. After all, he's not a governor anymore, or after all, he's not a current governor, a sitting governor. But that is the actual attraction to this particular content today, because we want to see that linking between an ex-governor with current 36 governors. This is a really, really big one. Stay tuned. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has filed a lawsuit against Nigeria's 36 governors and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (Abuja), Mr. Nyesom Wike, over a failure to account for the spending of trillions of FAAC allocations collected by their states and the FCT since 1999. The lawsuit followed reports that the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee (FAAC) disbursed N1.123 trillion to the federal, state and local governments for March 2024. They shared N1.208 trillion in April. States collected N398.6 billion in March, while they collected N403.4 billion in April. In the suit number FHC-ABJCS 6662024, filed last Friday at the Federal High Court, Abuja, Serap is asking the court to direct and compel the governors and Mr. Wike to publish spending details of the FAAC allocations collected by their states and the FCT since 1999, including the list and locations of projects executed with the money. Serap is also asking the court to compel the governors and Mr. Wike to invite the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) to probe any allegations of corruption linked to the allocations and to monitor how the money was spent. In the suit, Serap is arguing that Nigerians ought to know in what manner public funds, including FAAC allocations, are spent by the governors and FCT minister. According to Serap, opacity in the spending of the FAAC allocations collected by the governors and Mr. Wike will continue to have negative impact in the fundamental interest of the citizens. Serap is arguing that trillions of FAAC allocations received by Nigeria's 36 states and the FCT have allegedly gone down the drain. The resulting human cost directly threaten the human rights of socially and economically vulnerable Nigerians. Serap is also arguing that without the information on the spending details of the FAAC allocations, Nigerians cannot follow the actions of their states and the FCT, and they cannot properly fulfill their responsibilities as citizens. Serap is also arguing that directing and compelling the governors and the FCT minister to provide the information sought and widely publish the spending details of the FAAC allocations collected by them would serve legitimate public interest. According to Serap, the failure of the governors and the FCT minister to account for the spending of FAAC allocations collected by them is entirely inconsistent and incompatible with the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended and the country's international anti-corruption obligations. Furthermore, the suit filed on behalf of Sarah by its lawyers Kolawole Oluwadare, Kehinde Oyewumi, and Andrew Nwankwo read in part states and the FCT should be guided by transparency and accountability principles and proactivity and proactive accounts for the of the FAAC allocation collected by them. However, secrecy in the spending of FAAC allocations collected by the governors and the FCT minister also denies Nigerians the right to know how public funds are spent. Transparency in the spending would allow them retain control over their government. The governors and FCT minister have a legal obligation to provide the information sought, including the list of specific projects completed with the FAAC allocations collected, the locations of any such projects, and completion reports of the project. The information sought should also include details of the salaries and pensions paid from the FAAC allocations collected, as the details executed on hospitals and with FAAC allocations. Despite the increased FAAC allocation to states and FCT, millions of residents in several states and the FCT continue to face extreme poverty and lack access to public goods and services. The removal of petrol subsidy and the floating of the exchange rate by the federal government has translated into increased FAAC allocations to states and the FCT. However, there is no corresponding improvement in the security and welfare of millions of Nigerians. FAAC allocations received by the states and the FCT are characterized by mismanagement, diversion of funds, and abandoned projects. FAAC allocations have also been allegedly spent for other purposes such as election campaigns and political patronage. Publishing the documents on the spending of FAAC allocations by the states and FCT with transparency, accountability, and reduce the risks in the of the funds. Publishing the documents would also enable Nigerians to meaningfully engage in the implementation of projects executed with the FAAC allocations collected. The reports of some 140 million Nigerians are poor suggest corruption and mismanagement in the spending of trillions of naira in FAAC allocations collected by the states of the FCT. According to the information, the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee FAAC disbursed 1.123 trillion naira to the federal, state, and local governments for March 2024. State governments got 398.6 billion naira, while local government councils got 288.6 billion naira. The mineral producing states received an additional 90.1 billion naira, 13% of mineral revenue. In February, states collected 336 billion naira as well. According to the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparent Initiative (NEITI), the federal, states, and local governments shared 10.1 trillion from the federation accounts as statutory revenue allocations in 2023, with states collecting 5.5 trillion naira. Section of the Nigerian Constitution requires public institutions to abolish all corrupt and abuse of power. Section 16.2 of the Nigerian Constitution further provides that the material resources of the nation are harnessed and distributed as best as possible to serve the common good. Section 13 of the Nigerian Constitution imposes clear responsibility on the states and FCT to conform to, observe, and apply the provisions of Chapter 2 of the Constitution. Nigeria has also made legally binding commitments under the UN Convention against corruption to ensure accountability in the management of public resources. Nigerians are entitled to the right to receive information without any interference or distortion, and the enjoyment of these rights should be based on the principle of maximum disclosure and a presumption that all information is accessible, subject only to a narrow system of exceptions. The Freedom of Information Act, Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution, Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights guarantee to everyone the right to information, including the documents on the spending of FAAC allocations. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. So there you have it. All 36 states governors have been sued, inclusive or including the FCT minister as well, on how they have spent and managed and how well they are managing onto which projects they have managed the funds given to them by the FAAC. So there you have it. No particular dates have been fixed for the hearing, but surely whatsoever comes whatsoever comes out of this lawsuit, ANT News will sure to give you the right information at the right time.